I'm not finished yet. Albert?
What is this?
This is where you pucker up and kiss my ass.
Now listen,
you listen to me, you son of a bitch. This man's name is Albert Hosteen. You should remember that. Because if Agents Mulder and Scully come down with so much as a case of the flu, Albert is prepared to recite chapter and verse, file for file, everything on your precious tape.
It's a nice try, Skinner.
I'm sure you're thinking Albert is an old man. And there are plenty of ways that you might kill him, too. Which is why in the ancient oral tradition of his people, he's told 20 other men the information on those files. So unless you kill every Navajo living in 4 states, that information is available with a simple phone call. Welcome to the wonderful world of high technology.
You're bluffing.
Am I?
Episode 58 of Most Unwanted Podcast. We're going straight in.
I love it.
Straight in.
No intro needed.
Well, we do have to do some
What's the name of the episode?
Shit. No. I'm joking. I'll redact that. I'm Luke.
I'm Checks.
I was going to introduce you, but okay.
I'll introduce myself. Thank you very much.
And this is Checks.
Hey. This is all over the place. I love it.
Oh, yeah. This is chaotic. See, we need to swap roles. You need to be more...
Yeah.
Newsreader type, and I'll just be the wild card.
The crazy Luke.
Yeah, I come in, ruin. I'm going to edit this so the intro is at the end. And really flip it on its head. But anyway, before we get to that, let's keep it structured. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it to what we usually do. How is your week been gonna be? Right.
This is ruined. Okay.
Okay.
We've already talked about our week and what we're doing in the future. Last episode.
We didn't actually. We skipped over. I just remembered we forgot to talk about what we were doing in the future.
Did we?
Yeah. So now we can talk about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because this is what's going to be happening this week.
Yes. So what's going to be happening this week?
Well, let's start with you. Are you up to much this week?
Nah.
No. Okay.
No. So I'm going to tell a story and instead. Give me a subject. And I'm going to tell a story about it, and that's going to be my contribution to what I like to call the banter phase.
Okay. I want you to tell a story about the town close to Stratford-upon-Avon called Wootton Wowen.
I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
Very dear place in my heart.
Yeah.
As you know, it's close to Stratford-upon-Avon, which is in the Midlands.
It is, yeah.
And also in the Midlands is Wolverhampton, is where I live. Oh, I live close to Wolverhampton.
Bit of a deviation from...
you want just about...
Yeah, what's big in Wootton Wowen?
Oh, bananas. They love bananas.
Do they grow them?
No. They import them.
Okay.
Until bloody Brexit.
Oh.
Now we can't have them anymore, and
or any other type of fruit.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
this is took a tangent.
There's a famine. There's a famine.
Just in Wootton Wowen.
Yeah, it's really
localized.
Yeah. That's what they call it, and you can't go there anymore.
Oh, God.
How's your week been? Or how's it gonna be?
Well, at this moment in time, actually, no, this will be the week after. The week that the first episode goes out. So this is confusing. Timeline is all over the place.
We've just given up the fact that we just made up a story about famine and then we've moved on to what is actually happening this week.
But it's in the past. So this will be in the past, but I'm talking about it as it's going to be in the future.
Okay, so like when Marty McFly, like sort of in the second one.
This is Back to the Future 2, basically, of my life.
So it's your future, but it's somebody else's past.
As you listen to it, this will have happened, but I'm going to describe roughly what will happen.
As your future.
As my future.
Where am I in this? Is this my present?
No.
Oh, I'm confused.
It's your... What's past the future.
Okay.
Weird.
I don't know what's going on this episode. I'm going to apologise right now to everybody. This is absolute chaos.
Okay. Let's get down to brass tacks. Okay. What I will be doing this week that I'll be recording.
There is taxing the fruits.
No,
That's it.
no,
Yeah, that's
no
why.
more.
They couldn't afford it.
Wotan Warren has had its turn. Let's talk about Croatia.
Yes, Croatia.
That sounds like a mental segue, but it's actually correct.
You are going to Croatia this week.
I am, yeah. I'm going to Croatia. It's for a work thing, which is new for me because I've never ever done anything for work outside of being in an office. So I don't know how much I can talk about. I don't think anybody listens to it in my office, but you know,
Yeah.
You don't.
I wouldn't give away secrets.
Yeah.
Office secrets.
Office secrets.
Yeah.
But yeah. We're flying out to Dubrovnik in Croatia, which is interesting to me because this is where they filmed. We talked about it last episode. Game of Thrones. They filmed a lot of.
Are you going to visit the Red Keep?
I am. Well, I don't know if it's there anymore. To be honest,
I think it is. Yeah, the whole castle walls are there. What?
Not after what happened.
The famine there too.
Dragons. Did you watch it? Jesus.
Oh, where's the spoiler warning? You got to be careful with this.
Oh, come on. We're 5 weeks on from this now. If you've not watched it, come on. So I'm going there with a work. It's like a support meet. But I don't know. To be honest, I don't know the actual itinerary of what's going to happen there at the moment. I just know I'm going. So
that's cool. It's
interesting.
An interesting week.
Yeah,
better than the day at the office.
It definitely. Well, I mean, it's technically a day at the office, but the office is in Dubrovnik.
Yeah.
And apparently it's going to be 28 all of there
Degrees.
all week. Yeah. Celsius, because I know. Yeah, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm terrible with these kind of things, but yeah.
I think it's 100.
Yeah, we'll guess at that.
100 Fahrenheit.
Let's guess and go forward.
Yeah. I'd love it if that means you're burning up.
Yeah, they're going, Jesus, everyone, anyone who knows Fahrenheit's like, bloody hell, is he on the surface of the sun?
It's probably not going to be that hot, is it?
No, probably not. But it's looking like it could be a really good sort of trip away. So yeah, I'll be going. That's why we had this break, but I wanted to get back and record now because I knew I had to get these edited because I will have no time that week at all. Because I think I'm away Tuesday to Saturday, so. Yeah, it's going to wipe out pretty much most of my week. And I don't think Tasha's going to be too happy if I then get back on Saturday and go, anyway, I've got episodes to edit.
Good point. Yeah, very smart time on
diligent, yeah. I'm getting better at this in my old age.
I like it.
My old age of 27. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's it. I mean, I can't really talk. I don't know what I'm doing over there apart from the off times. I'm going to be enjoying the sights and looking at Game of Thrones filming locations. I suppose that's my main.
That's all you got to do.
That's all I'm going to do. Yeah.
I enjoy the local cuisine.
I will.
I would always recommend if anyone's travelling anywhere. There's so many people. It kind of annoys me. There's so many people that go away and all they eat is McDonald's. Or some sort of variant of
some
fast food.
franchise or something like that. Yeah,
and I'm just like, why? If you're going to Rome, go and have a pasta.
Do as the Romans do.
Do as the Romans do, exactly.
How did you not go for that? Maybe it's just me.
But yeah, if you're going, you know what I mean. Just try. Put yourself. It might not be what you usually go for, but put yourself out there.
You can have a Mackey's the next day if you didn't like it.
Exactly. Traveling. I'm a big believer in traveling. The major part of traveling should be experiencing other people's cultures.
I know you're looking at going to Japan sometime in the future.
Oh yes.
All I've heard about Japan eating wise is if you eat cuisine that isn't Japanese, you will have shit food. Whereas if you eat Japanese food or Japanese cuisine, you'll be having amazing food every night. That is the difference.
Exactly. So I can't wait, and I want to just throw myself into it because it's just experience life. Do you know what I mean? How often do people get to do that?
We became really weird intro, then grounded, and now we got a hippie.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Live your life, guys.
Now, I'm being serious here, Luke. Live your life to the full. Okay? I want you to go to Croatia. Mm-hmm. I want you to eat all the local cuisine.
What's a typical Croatian cuisine?
Croatian eggs.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I want you to meet a lovely Croatian lady. Get married. Have a few Croatian babies.
I don't feel like Tasha's going to.
But you've got to ingratiate yourself in the local ways.
I'm sure I'll tell her that and she'll be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Wear a Croatian hat!
I feel like after all this talk, we're going to have to put a little bow on this, or maybe like containing all these files, so pop a little clip on the top, a paper clip.
A paper clip.
To seal all of this.
What's the title of the X-Files episode called?
I think you know. So, this episode, as we've alluded to, is Paperclip. It's the second episode of Series 3. Moving on. It was directed by Rob Bowman, not Robert. Written by...
It might have been Robert.
Full named in there, yeah. He's going to be angry with me. Written by Chris Carter, and the original air date was September the 29th, 1995. So, we start off and we see stock footage of bears, the American planes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we hear Albert Hosteen, and he's giving a monologue.
To the Navajo, the earth and its creatures have great influence over our existence. The stories passed from generation to generation help us to understand the reason for our tears of sadness and tears of joy. Animals like the bear, the spider, and the coyote are powerful symbols to our people. When the FBI man Mulder was cured by the holy people, we were reminded of the story of the Gila monster, who symbolizes the healing powers of the medicine man. In this myth, the Gila monster restores a man by taking all his parts and putting them back together. His blood is gathered by ants, his eyes and ears by sun, his mind by talking god and pollen boy. Then lightning and thunder bring the man back to life. At the end of the ceremony, when the FBI man had been healed, we heard the news from other Native Americans in the northern plains that a great event had taken place.
And this is when we cut to a car driving towards a farm. We see some guys get out of this barn, and Albert continues the rest of this monologue.
Like the Navajo, these people have their own stories and myths. One of these stories tells of the white buffalo woman who came down from the heavens and taught the Indians how to lead virtuous lives and how to pray to the Creator. She told the people she would return one day. Then she turned into a white buffalo and ascended into the clouds, never to be seen again.
And yeah, then we see this white buffalo inside the newly born buffalo. And Albert Hosteen says, and I'll just say this part, on this day when the holy people had given the FBI man a miracle, the white buffalo was born, and every Native American knew, whether he believed the story or not, that this was a powerful omen and that great changes were coming. Thought I'd just finish there with just that last little line, because I don't want to keep editing Albert Hosteen. I feel like we need to do a bit of the work. But,
yeah, a little bit.
So yeah, that was the opening.
Yeah, again, very similar to the last episode, sort of using him as an almost semi-narrator.
Yeah, we have a lot of monologuing in the last two episodes, don't we?
Yeah, I think it's a good way to do it. Sets the story up. All I could think of, to be honest with you, whilst this last line is, have you ever read The Alchemist?
No.
Really good book, a very short book, a short story.
Who's it by? Yeah, sounds familiar.
Oh,
sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I can't remember. It's I think it's a Portuguese name. So it bear with me for 2 seconds, and I will find out.
Or shall I continue with the rundown?
Paulo Coelho.
Okay.
Coelho.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's really a really sort of incredible book. If ever you get a chance to read it, I would definitely recommend it to everybody. Basically, long and short of it, it's about following your dreams and the cost of those dreams and the cost of not following your dreams as well. Very inspiring, definitely recommend. But in that, they talk about that a lot, about following omens. But in that book, I listened to the audiobook of it, and they call them omens. and then as soon as I heard this, I was just like, oh, that's an omen. And just a little anecdote there. That's immediately what I thought. Omen.
Omens. Have you seen any of that good Omens, the new TV show?
Oh, no. Okay, a little sidetrack again.
Okay. I haven't watched any, by the way. I was just sort of throwing that out there.
I really want to watch it.
Yeah.
And I really want to watch the other TV show, and I can't remember what it's called. American Gods?
American Gods, yeah.
Really want to watch American Gods. Both TV shows based on Neil Gaiman books. But I want to read Neil Gaiman's books first, because I know... I've heard how good they are. It's just it's always been on my to-read list. Never got round to them. And I know I'd love them. I really do. I've got them. I've bought them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to ruin it by watching the TV show. I know that they're going to be great in their own right, but I want to read the books first.
From what I hear, and I've watched the first series of American Gods, and I've read half of the book.
Yeah.
Oh, the audiobook. American Gods, the TV show, is good, but not as good as the book. Good Omens is pretty much one for one, from what I gather from the reviews.
Yeah.
And somebody who we know, friend of the show, Pabs, I don't know if he still listens, to be honest. He stopped emailing, so we're calling him out. He was talking about it, and he was really looking forward to the TV series because he's a massive fan of the book. And he said it lived up to all of his expectations.
Okay.
So yeah.
Maybe I'll have to just dive into one and give myself a little bit of motivation to either read or watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have heard it's good things. And the cast is stellar.
I know,
The cast is absolutely stellar, so...
Sorry about that diversion.
Yeah,
just off the word omens.
Yeah. Omens!
Anyway, we now go, after the opening credits, we jump back to Mulder's apartment, and we get a repeat of the end of the last episode, which I won't go over. We see Skinner now telling Scully to drop a weapon, which he refuses. They go back and forth, but neither one budges. Mulder then bursts in, so we now know that the guy outside was Mulder. His gun's drawn. He points at Skinner and tells him to give up the gun, which he does.
I love the little... It's like... I can't describe it, but the best way I can describe it is a smile in Scully's eyes. Because that little moment where she's like so happy to see him, but what an awkward circumstance for it to announce he's alive.
It's a weird reunion, that's what he said.
They do get to have a little reunion outside later.
Scully explains what she was told about someone being sent to kill her, and Skinner says that he has the tapes, and he wants to know what's on them, basically. Mulder says that the cigarette smoking man killed his father for those tapes, and he says something strange here, that he says that he killed him, but he came back.
Yeah.
Was that literal? I don't feel like it was.
Well, I mean, he was in the space in between, wasn't he? So I suppose technically he could be considered dead.
Yeah, that was a weird one, I thought, because to me, I saw it as he was like sort of close to death, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line? At that point?
Exactly.
Skinner's confused by all this, as I was. And Mulder starts explaining that what's on the tapes, basically the Defense Department files that weren't supposed to exist, basically. And it's evidence of this global conspiracy to cover up aliens,
basically.
Skinner says that they need to keep these tapes out of the government's hands, and he says they need to stay with him as it's their only leverage against the I say government, against this consortium, the
syndicates.
Yeah.
I mean, again, they still haven't called it the syndicate, as far as I'm aware. So,
but I think that's again they're probably not going to give them an official name. Like from Mulder and Scully, they just know them as the bad guys. They don't really have a name to put to it yet. So. At least for a while. Maybe they're doing like Series 6 and this is all retroactive that they've
It's possible, I mean, but as far as I'm aware, it looks like it just leaves it up to the fan base to make that decision.
Yeah, so, which makes sense, I guess. So Skinner says that he needs to keep these as leverage, and Mulder and Scully eventually just relent. And Mulder tells him to make sure he doesn't let these tapes fall into their hands. Mulder and Scully leave. And Mulder says there are truths out there that are not on these tapes.
Yeah.
This is when we see that scene outside where they're by the elevator, and we see that Scully's relieved to see that Mulder is okay.
Yeah.
And he asks how she knew that he was okay, because she mentions that she told
funeral,
the funeral, and she says she just knew, which is the first time she's just followed a hunch.
Yeah.
She's usually quite
And again,
vicious.
that's what her sister told her to do in the last episode when, I don't think we mentioned it on the show, but there's this sort of long conversation where Scully has closed herself off from the rest of the world because of her sort of obsession with science and the scientific explanation for things, and she needs to just sort of follow her gut a little bit more, which seems to be what she has done.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably see this more as the series goes on, as the bleeding of the two of Mulder following a bit more scientific basis to not go chasing geese, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Wild geese is probably not actual geese. A metaphorical goose.
A metaphorical goose. Yeah.
We're then at the hospital, and we see Scully's mom enter, and she's asking for Dana, because she's been informed that it was Dana. So this again sort of hints at that they were planning to kill Scully.
Who informed her that it was Dana?
I get the feeling
Or maybe it was the police just found her at the house and assumed, maybe.
potentially, or maybe it was this like syndicate or whatever,
Yeah.
basically planted the information to say, "Oh no, your daughter's been
Yeah,
shot."
it could be.
Who knows? But she's told that it's Melissa, and they say that Melissa's had a head gunshot wound and has been induced into a coma. And we see Margaret Scully crying, which I thought, this woman, man, she's been through so much.
I know.
She's had her husband die, Scully be kidnapped and then in a coma, and now her other daughter, Melissa, is now in a coma.
Yeah, all in the space of like a year.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And what we find out later on in the episode is that Melissa will eventually die.
Yeah.
Jesus, like what? I mean, we've got to hope that Scully doesn't die at any point. I'm pretty sure she doesn't, based on like knowing that there's 9 series worth or whatever. But man, that would be just, I don't know. What would you do at that point?
Yeah, I mean, your family's just falling apart around you.
I know, yeah.
It's gotta be hard.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when the daughter who gets shot is the one who's just like messing around with crystals, not the FBI agent. You know what I mean?
And you got that sort of insinuation that it should have been them, so is your other daughter in danger? And God, she copes well, and especially with if Scully's all you've got left and she's going back into the FBI.
I know, yeah.
Oh, God.
I know. We're in the lone gunman office, and we see Mulder is showing the picture of this group, this syndicate, to the lone gunman, and he asks if they're familiar. And Mulder also states that the photo was from 1973. Byers asks if they've ever heard of Operation Paperclip, which I believe is an actual operation.
I didn't have a look into to see whether it actually was.
I don't know if the code name's the same, but I know what they talk about next actually did happen.
Oh, okay.
So
I mean, to be fair, it wouldn't shock me.
No,
and I didn't question it. So,
Mulder explains that he knows what it is. He explains that the US gave Nazi scientists a safe haven in America if they agreed to work for the US.
Share their knowledge.
Basically, yeah. It was I think it was all like a Cold War situation thing. They thought if we nab the German scientists who've worked on nuclear stuff,
we've got the advantage. Yeah,
exactly.
It was that arms race, wasn't it? Basically,
yeah. So America's sort of not just America. I think England did it as well. Like a lot of.
I think every country did it pretty much. Yeah, it's and of course they had the space race as well, trying to reach the moon first, etc. So
yeah.
Have you heard we're going to do that again?
The what?
We've
already been there. I think the race is done.
I could have. No, not a race.
Just imagine Rat Race. You know that film? Whoever's first to the moon wins.
No, apparently, and again, this is just flicking through news stories, so I could be completely misquoting the article. But so I hear. We're sending someone else to the moon in the next 5 years.
Okay.
I don't know what for.
Check if it's still there.
Check if it's still there.
Yeah, you never know. Stuff moves in space. Have you seen that? Talking of while we're off on this tangent, have you seen that new program that's coming out called For All Mankind?
No.
It's like an alternate history TV series by J.J. Abrams, and it's basically about the Russians landed on the moon first.
And what that would the knock-on effect would be.
Basically, America is like, we're not having that. We're going to go to Mars, and then Russia is like, okay, we're going to go to, and it's basically the space race just keeps going on.
Yeah.
It looks really good, actually. It looks really interesting.
Give it a shot.
I've only saw the trailer of it, but it looked decent. So anyway, completely different tangent. Yeah. Stick to this space race.
Yes, let's do that.
They mention that a Nazi scientist called Victor Klemper is standing next to his father, and he was one of these people that was brought over. They mention that he experimented on Jews, and they go into the methods, but I won't elaborate on that too much.
Yeah.
They mention that he helped in the space race. Bayer says he doesn't recognise anyone else in the photo. He says the project, this Paperclip project, was scrapped in the 50s. So it is interesting that here he is with his father in the 70s.
Yeah.
They ask what happened to Klemper, and they mention that he's still alive. He's still living out on taxpayers' money, basically. Frohike enters, and he's very shocked to see Mulder.
Yeah.
But very happy.
Yeah. I just love him. He just bumbles around. Like, I don't know why. I've got no new things to say about him.
Yeah.
I just like to see him bumble through the door.
He's like, do you know when you've got that one person who turns up at a party or something like that, and you're always like, yeah, they're coming. Yeah. That's what Frohike is like. You're like, yes, he's here. He enters and he runs over to Mulder, gives him a hug, and Mulder says that he's going to have to wait to get his video collection.
Yeah.
Still, just popping in the one-liners. He can't help it. He does have some bad news, though. And he mentions that he's heard about a shooting on the police scanner. He says it's Scully's sister. She runs out.
Really just abruptly says this, though, as well. I feel like he could have used a little bit more tact.
Yeah. To be fair, haven't we said before that Frohike doesn't really have too much tact,
good points. Yeah. It's not really in his nature, is it?
Yeah. Scully runs out and Mulder gives chase and basically says to her that if she goes to find Melissa, they'll kill her. And he says... Mulder says that he can find somebody to help her. The only right thing to do now would be to crucify the people responsible. So
I feel like this is the sort of, not the first instance, but it's the strongest indication that Mulder's on a revenge mission now.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've seen Mulder in this sort of state before. He gets reckless.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like in this episode, you sort of see that as well. The sort of how he starts giving people, not putting people at risk. For the sake
for what he needs to find out.
For this sort of thirst for knowledge and thirst for the truth.
And we see a scene later on where he just sort of forgets all about everything just to get this truth. But we'll talk about that one in a second. We then cut back to the 46th Street in New York, which is this syndicate's base, I guess. I'm going to call it their base. I don't know what the correct term is.
Yeah, well, when I put it down in my notes, I put it down as the cigar room.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just that's what it looked like to me.
That's pretty much what it is. Like a gentleman's club, I guess. I suppose.
It reminds me of like
not that type of gentleman's club.
It reminds me of. Have you ever watched like any sort of 1920s TV dramas where like you'd have people bribing their way into like the country club
and they're in like a library and it's like all these fancy chairs.
Yeah, that's the only way they could talk to like the sort of the people of power because that's where they go to hang out.
Yeah,
that's what it reminds me of.
It's pretty much it's that kind of vibe.
Yeah, I don't think you could bribe your way into this place though.
Probably not. No, you get shot. I imagine. We see this group in this cigar room. And they're talking about the shooting that's happened, and they start to blame Cigarette Smoking Man for the mistakes. And he says that it can be fixed. And then we see this guy that we saw at the funeral, the well-manicured man, and he just scolds Cigarette Smoking Man. So again, we see them all jockeying for power again and sort of laying low Cigarette Smoking Man. And he reiterates that Mulder is dead and that the tape has been recovered after they keep questioning him about it. And they ask to see the tape. And you can tell that...
So there's this distrust already?
Yeah, exactly. They don't trust him about this. So he says that he'll bring it tomorrow as it's been vouchsafed. Which I've never heard that term before. But yeah, I guess he just stored it somewhere. I don't know.
I tell you what I like about this scene. I like the fact that they don't mess about with the narrative. And what I mean by that is there's so many shows out there that if given this same scenario would have had a season where you have the Syndicate all working together to fight Mulder and Scully, and then when you need to up the ante the next season, all of a sudden they start turning on each other.
Yeah.
X-Files doesn't do that. What it does is you haven't seen the Syndicate before, you've only seen one part of it. When it does show you the whole part, it shows you the dynamic already.
Yeah, already.
Straight away, you can tell, right, not all's peaceful and wonderful in this Syndicate. Yeah. There's their own conflicts they're dealing with ahead of Mulder and Scully. So I did like that.
You can tell they've got a lot more story to tell than that slow drawn out.
Yeah.
Oh, do they trust each other? It's like, no, they don't, and we're going to tackle that later.
Exactly, and it gives that sort of feeling of there's a story before we're introduced to it.
Yeah.
Whereas if there's not, if you do it like all the TV shows do, and I'm not painting every TV show with the same brush, but it's almost you give the viewer the impression that things are only happening to progress the story.
Yeah.
Whereas this, we don't need to know why they're all distrusting of each other. We can figure that out ourselves, or we can paint a background ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So I really like that.
It makes it feel like more of a real world than just a story.
Exactly. Spot on. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, we cut now to the greenhouse, is all we know it as. And we see Klemper, and he's working on these flowers. Mulder and Scully enter. They explain who they are. And Klemper implies that he knew Mulder's dad from... Muldad, let's get correct.
Muldad, obviously.
From basically hearing his name. They ask him about his government work. And he starts to just say that, history bores him. This is all in the past. And Scully says, is that because it escaped you, or because you escaped it?
Scully's taking a real issue with this guy.
He is a Nazi.
He is a Nazi, yeah. I realised when I was saying that, I was like, yeah, fair enough. But I just want to say that she has taken a real issue with this guy, like she's taken this personally.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, that's why.
That's why, it makes sense when I take 2 seconds to think about it.
He starts to name famous scientists and explains how they'll be remembered, something like Freud and I can't remember some of the others, but that was one of the names he mentioned. And he says that he will only be remembered as a butcher. And he says, but he does say that the experiments that he did changed the world. So again, he's still got this distorted view of his work, basically. And Scully says that it will for a lot of innocent Jews. And he tries to reason that by saying progress demands sacrifice. And he says he has confronted his demons and he will die soon too. Now, is that a foreshadowing to know that he's got like the crosshairs on him? Or is it he just thinks he's old?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean...
'cause he seems savvy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like you can look at it both ways. You can look at it as in, my life's going to end because he's just literally talked about his legacy like moments before. Or you can look at it as he's seen Mulder walking through the door and he's gone, well, my life's on a timer now because they're going to want to kill me as soon as they get a chance.
Exactly. That's... I didn't think about that until just reading that out. And I was like, do you know what? I feel like, and knowing how it plays out, I feel like he's savvy enough to know, well, that's me.
Yeah, as soon as Mulder walks through the door, because he's too... what's the word? When you can't keep him around.
Oh, he's a liability.
He's a liability. That's the word I'm thinking of. Yeah, he's a liability. As soon as Mulder knows who he is, then he becomes a liability.
Yeah, definitely.
And so better just to take care of it.
Yeah.
But that also goes to my point that I made last episode, where if they're that ruthless, especially again with their own, then why haven't they just been killing Scully and Mulder and just? I mean, there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
The amount of times they've had Scully and Mulder in isolated situations. Do you know what I mean?
Especially after the end of this episode, where they've now been set up where they can't be touched. You'd have think they'd have just taken precautions to get this done before it got to that point. You know what I mean? But there'd be no TV series, I guess.
There would be no TV show, so...
Yeah. That's the explanation of it. Mulder claims that Klemper knows why they killed his dad, or know what reason they killed his dad for. And that he basically says that they'll kill anyone for the best interests of the work, he calls it. Mulder asks what the work was. He asks if his dad was a murderer too, and he says that he needs to know the truth. To which then he says something which just seems out of left field. He asks if they know the formula for Napier's constant, which again just is, from what we learn later on, is a number sequence. It's like a random algorithm, I guess. And he says that the photo was taken at the Strughold Mining Company in West Virginia, and he says the rest they'll find out for themselves. So they leave with this knowledge.
But the number that he was aware of, that was the code to get in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I was reading that right. Yeah,
it definitely is. Yeah, it's just weird that obviously it seemed weird at the time. You know.
Yeah, so it's like a coded version that only they would know. Yeah,
there's a little stick around afterwards, guys, because there's a little production note about that number. So.
I love this scene, and I actually at this point I'm really enjoying this episode. I was interested to know where they go with it. I hate people doing this. Just tell them the code. No one's around. It's not that difficult to work out. Just tell him the code. Just tell him what he needs to know. Why make him drive 50 miles? You're gonna die anyway. Just tell him the code. Tell him, you know what I mean? Oh,
there's aliens in there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god.
Yeah, I suppose it ruins again
the TV show.
It ruins the suspense. I guess. That's probably.
Have you ever been in a situation in your life where someone has given you just enough information to go and find out yourself?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, have you? Okay,
yeah,
go on.
Because my old boss used to be a dick.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
I won't say which one. But yeah, I've had that before where I've been told parts of a problem because he wanted to see if I could work it out, and it's like, we could have solved this in 5 seconds if you'd have told me. Instead, it took me an hour because I'm there Googling around trying to figure out what the hell he meant. But anyway, that's a bit of...
I feel like we've opened Pandora's box here.
Yeah, it's kind of worms, yeah. Anyway, we cut back to the smoking room, and a phone rings, an aide picks it up, and it's a call from Klemper to the well-manicured man. And he says it's been far too many years. He explains that Mulder visited. He says that he's told him nothing, or not explained anything to him. After he gets a dig in by calling him the most venal man he's ever met.
Yeah.
Is the only information he told them, apparently.
Just signed his death warrants.
Yeah, that's it. That's probably what he... Yeah, that's it. So no one disses me. He explains to the group, this is the well-manicured man, explains to the rest of the group that Mulder is still alive. And he says that they will call in someone to handle this more satisfactorily. So they know Cigarette Smoking Man now is full of shit, basically.
Basically.
Yeah. We come back to the hospital and we see Melissa in bed being watched by her mom. And we see a very suspicious man walk by the door. He might as well have had evil agent or something on his head or something. It's very obvious. But we then see a nurse come in who basically introduces Costin and says that... And Mulder's mom, Scully's mom, says that she was expecting Scully. And he explains who he is, and he also says that Scully's contacted him to ask for help.
Yeah, she can't make it there herself.
Yeah. He touches Melissa's hand, and he says that she's getting weaker, and she's actually worse than she appears. And he says he will pray over her. We then cut to this rural West Virginia scene, and we actually see now Mulder and Scully arrive at the Strughold mine, and it's this huge mining complex built into the side of the mountain.
Abandoned.
Yeah, they go inside and it's a wreck.
Seemingly abandoned.
Well, yeah. It's a wreck inside, there's birds everywhere. Not just birds, but you know what I mean, like... the sign of wreck and ruin, birds. And they're confused as to what Mulder would have been doing here. Mulder even jokes that he never saw him come home in a mining cap. They keep continuing on into this mine, and they see this collection of black doors with keypads on them. Mulder starts testing a code, and Scully basically says she's trying in this Napier's constant, which is a numbered code. I can't remember the number. I'm not even going to try. But she says she's positive that it's the code. They try it on some of the doors, and it doesn't work on others, but on one, it does work, and it lets them in. Before they go in, though, Scully does caution Mulder, basically saying she doesn't want him to tarnish his dad's legacy.
Yeah.
Before going in case there's something in there that is not right, basically.
Well, I think she's...
What's the worst thing that could be in there that would tarnish his dad's legacy?
That he's a Nazi.
That's pretty up there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you found out your dad was a Nazi, you'd be like, oh, damn.
Yeah, I'd be miffed. I'd be like, oh...
I'd be miffed.
Oh, God.
Oh, Dad.
Dads! Oh...
I like your response to, my dad's a Nazi, I'd be miffed.
You're so embarrassing!
What is it with all the goose stepping?
Not in front of my friends! Oh. Yeah, it'd be awful,
that
wouldn't it?
That would be pretty bad.
It'd be pretty awful, yeah.
Pretty bad,
but yeah, I think the point of this is she's trying to take some time out to sort of say to him, you've not had chance to process any of this.
Basically, yeah.
Are you in the right mental state to deal with whatever you find in there?
And this is what we were talking about last episode, of him processing his dad's death. It doesn't seem like up until this point that he's even processed anything.
Well, you had the initial, with regards to the actual murder.
Yeah,
you had his reaction to that. But yet, since he's woke up, it just looks like he's on a mission. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe it is fueled by revenge, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not too sure, but
yeah, I think it could have been played out a little bit more on the emotional side.
But anyway, they choose to go inside, and we then cut to the FBI headquarters. Cigarette smoking man enters Skinner's office, and apparently Skinner's called him. Says that he may have the tape. He's very clear on saying he may have the tape.
Maybe.
He says that he's...
Just imagine, like Austin Powers, just putting his little finger up, just, maybe. Do you have the tape?
Kind of ruins the mystique of Skinner if he's doing that.
He's just smirking.
Putting his finger to his mouth.
Seriously, do you? Maybe.
Is that actually an Austin Powers bit? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah. I
don't think it's Austin Powers. I think it's Fat Bastard, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Do you mind not swearing? I do. This is a clean podcast.
His parents wasn't married. He was technically.
What was that grammar then?
I don't know.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
let's move on.
the intros threw me through a loop. I'm not gonna lie. I'm all over the shop.
He's all over the place. Right. Skinner says he may have the tape, and he says that he's no. He says that he's willing to give it to another party if they can't cut a deal. So he's basically threatening Cigarette Smoking Man, and he snaps. Cigarette Smoking Man does. He says that he doesn't negotiate. Yeah. He threatens Skinner.
Before this, if you don't mind, this is the scene where he sort of loses his cool for a 5-second period. He's like, do you have the tape? Do you have it?
Yeah.
And he's like, genuinely just panic. Stricken with panic.
That's what it feels like, yeah.
I was just like, what? Like, this isn't... He's the cool, calm, collected guy, and
he's shown no emotion before, and then this.
Now he's not the top dog, and we know that now. He's never been the top dog.
Yeah, and he sort of hinted at that last series, didn't he? So, when Mulder walks in on him watching time, what was he doing? I can't even remember that scene. He was sat in the chair on a fag, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't remember.
A cigarette, should I say?
But here's the thing: is he? This throws out the question: why is he so scared? Okay?
Yeah.
So he's so scared, I'd imagine, because he knows if he messes this up, it's his life on the line.
Yeah.
That's the indication I got from it, right? And so you start to question, well, is that why he's so ruthless? Is that why he will put Krychek in that situation and be so deceitful all the time? Because he needs to make sure this all goes right, because if it doesn't, it's his head on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It sort of gives reason to it.
That's the thing. He's got a lot of stakes, especially knowing that, he's not the leader of this, or that we initially thought. So, he's a lot further down the pecking order than we thought, so...
I reckon they eat a lot of steaks as well.
They do, yeah.
I reckon it's raw steaks in that smoking room.
I knew I was in for a problem as soon as I said steaks. Yeah. As soon as it came out my mouth, I was like,
this is a flawed relationship. When you say steaks and you immediately go, oh, Check's is going to go off on one here.
About meat.
You know something's wrong. I wonder whether it's just you. I wonder whether all our listeners...
Nobody else has even twigged. He's like, why is he talking about steaks?
Yeah. I just like the idea that you just make a coherent point, and as soon as you say steaks, all of our listeners go, oh, for God's sake, he's going to go off on one again. he's said a meat word.
Delete.
Unfollow.
If you are still with us, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you've put up with a lot today.
This is a wild one, guys. Which is weird because usually this happens when we don't like an episode, but I think we both really like this
I really enjoyed this episode, yeah. I think the intro's just sent me through a loop.
Well, let's keep going through
Let's keep going through it, yeah.
That loop. He threatens Skinner, cigarette smoking and Samantha.
I'm not the only one that messes up.
So, cigarette smoking man threatens Skinner. He tells him to make sure his next course of action will be more cautious and informed.
Yeah.
Which is basically the cigarette smoking man way of saying, I'm going to kill you if this goes south, basically.
Yeah. And again, I did like this because it goes straight back to the cigarette smoking man we know, which is menacing. And I don't care what you say, having a cigarette and blowing smoke in someone's face is just like the baddest move you can do. Do you know what I mean?
I wrote as a note for that action, threateningly takes a drag.
Yeah, honestly, it's the best.
It's the most offensive way I've seen someone take a drag of a cigarette. You know,
yeah, exactly.
He might as well be sticking his middle finger up at him.
I love it.
We cut back to the caves that Mulder and Scully are investigating, and they see all these filing cabinets. And inside are medical files.
Looks like millions of filing cabinets. It goes right the way down the mine.
Yeah, we see these as Mulder turns the light on. There's tons. And Scully says that they have inside them tissue samples, which apparently use an old membrane material that collect them. She mentions that new ones have plastic, which does come into play.
Yeah, it dates the ones that they're looking at.
And there's other information like birth certificates and vaccination information as well. She says that these files are from 1955, and Mulder suggests they look at... he asks what year Scully was born. She says 1964, so he goes to look for those files.
Bolts.
Mulder does find Scully's file, and it does have a recent tissue sample, which is this plastic one that was mentioned, which Scully looks confused about as to how they've got this.
Yeah, although I don't know why she's confused, because I think anyone could put two and two together.
It's when you got kidnapped.
Yeah. It's when you don't remember anything.
Yeah. That's probably when this happened, Mulder runs off looking for another file, and he finds his sister's. And he's not really sure what he's looking for in the file, but he just wanted to see the file.
I did notice that it's a plastic one again.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even realise that.
Yeah, I don't know whether they intended for that to happen, but it is a plastic one, which would suggest it's recent.
That's... Yeah, and we know that she's got clones, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, it's definitely interesting. That's a good theory. I didn't even pick up on that. So,
but for that insight, I still don't really understand what happened next.
Okay.
So you might be able to help me out on this. So I'll explain it. He notices that some of the fold was peeling, and as he peeled off Samantha's name, it was his name.
His name is underneath.
So it was originally his file.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about. I don't.
I know there's the implication later on that they took one of Muldad's kids as collateral.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be in this file, which was like basically this. Am I right in saying that all these files are from the smallpox vaccinations?
Yeah,
and they've taken it all from there, and that's what they're using for like this sort of DNA splicing. If
basically,
you like.
yeah.
So choosing which of Muldad's kids they're gonna abduct shouldn't have any relation to what this is. So I don't know why they've got the same folder. They should have both the folders.
I guess, but then again, I get the feeling this is information that'll make more sense as time goes on.
Maybe.
I feel like that's what it feels like to me.
I tell you what, if for anyone listening, if we're missing something completely obvious, let us know, because I didn't really understand that.
It seemed weird, but I sort of let that one go because I do get the feeling that'll come into play at some point. Yeah. But we'll see. They hear a rumble and Mulder runs off. It doesn't even consult with Scully.
Never does.
Just legs it. And we see outside that these... the lights go out in the cave first before we do. And we see Mulder as he exits. We see this bright light outside. Scully hears this hissing noise while she's still in the caves.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened here either.
Well... A group of alien-shaped humanoids ran past her. I don't know. There's aliens living in here, I guess. I don't know.
But they're not. They're not really aliens. They're like spliced humans by the looks of it.
Hybrids.
I'd imagine what was in the container.
Yeah, that's what I feel like it is as well. Yeah.
I love the shot.
Yeah.
The shot of them all just sort of running
past her. Yeah. It also makes me wonder: Are they a threat, or are they just like collateral damage in this?
I don't know. And then you saw one of their shadows at a doorway, and like as they looked back, it was like hello, and then they closed the door.
Yeah.
And then they're never mentioned again. Like Scully's just seen all these weird creatures running past her, like munchkins from the Wizard of Oz. Like they're tiny, aren't they? They're like waist height.
But I suppose. Where the lights go out in there, where we can see it because it's dramatic lighting.
Don't give me that. You're telling me she didn't see anything? Well, she literally saw their silhouettes.
She may have seen. Well, the silhouette. Yeah, you can't explain that, but it was far away.
Don't give me far away. Do not give me that. She never mentions it. Not once.
Yeah, she doesn't mention it. That is strange. But I don't know.
Where are these aliens going? I don't understand.
Back to the ship. They're going to the ship, maybe.
The ship's taken off, it's gone.
Or maybe I dropped them off, I don't know.
Dropped them off! Just a passing visit.
As soon as I said it, it's like that it dropped the aliens off. Like it was a mom dropping a kid off at football practice or something. I'll pick you up at 11.
Oh god.
Anyway, let's just keep going because maybe this will make more sense like by the end of this series or who knows. So yeah, all these humanoids, like let's call it what they are, alien humanoids run past. The light outside starts moving, so Mulder runs outside and he sees this huge ship. We see a clear like
it's a spaceship.
It's a spaceship.
It's definitely a spaceship,
and it's flying overhead. I like how overt now these alien sort of encounters are.
They're not flying saucers anymore, are they? They're different.
You've been ambushed by aliens, and there's a massive spaceship hovering above you. There's no like ifs or buts.
No little light in the sky. It's huge,
exactly.
And I like the design of it as well.
Yeah, I thought it was quite
good.
Different. Yeah. Scully chases after these like humanoids.
The ones that she didn't see.
She didn't see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe she thought they were kids. I don't know. Kids in the tunnel.
Yeah.
That's why they got dropped off.
Yeah. Just
babysitting.
Dropped off at the pool. Took a long turn.
Yeah. No. Let's not get vulgar. And she sees this figure in the distance, like silhouette, basically against this light. Then it goes to break.
Yeah.
We're left with this image.
Well, Scully forgets all about it, doesn't she?
Well, we might as well. Don't worry about it.
Leave that in the past.
We then see all these black sedans pulling up.
I am going to... We'll just say this for 1 second, because say you're right, and say this gets brought up in a future episode, and say it's next episode, and it's explained a little bit, and then, like, the first scene, Scully turns around to Mulder and she says, "Oh, well, I know he was in all the excitement and whatnot, in all the excitement of, running away from the people with guns and whatnot. I forgot to tell you, I saw like 20 aliens back there." Yeah. Can you imagine how angry Mulder's going to be that you're telling me this now? Yeah. We was there, you saw alien life forms, and you're telling me now?
Yeah, that's a good point.
He would be fuming.
Yeah, they've probably all been shot to death as well.
Cheers for that. Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't have time. Because as I was saying, these black sedans pull up at the base of the mine. We see all these armed police run out, and Mulder legs it. He knows what's happening here. They all run in and start firing at Mulder as he's trying to escape.
Yeah. Barrel rolling everywhere.
Yeah. I won't go through the details of this. We get this big action scene where they're all just firing at him. There's all bullets flying off stuff.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was very good.
I really enjoyed this bit. He hides behind some boxes and then escapes back into the caves. He finds Scully in the dark, and she shows them a way out of these caves, and they leave through basically like a backdoor entrance, I guess. But questions aside about the aliens, I really enjoyed this mine scene.
I'm of course joking. I'm assuming that's going to be explained later on. It was a little bit weird, but it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I really enjoyed this whole thing. They're really interesting. Yeah. The shot with those aliens coming at Scully was fantastic. It was like something from Alien. Like it had that sort of feel to it, and like this sort of weird, almost made you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Watching it, because you couldn't see exactly what it was. And the action sequence with Mulder as well. I really enjoyed it.
I think this was the part of the episode where I was like, the last episode we watched was good, but like it sort of felt quite middling. This one was a lot of story and a lot of action. Yeah, it was great. It was just the complete package. Anyway, we cut to Route 320A. In Craig, Maryland, and we see Skinner arriving at a diner, and inside Mulder and Scully are having food. They're just recovering, I guess. Yeah, you gotta eat. Skinner mentions that this place isn't even on the map, which Mulder says you'd be surprised what's not on the map in this country and what our government will do to keep it that way. He explains what happened to them last night. I won't go into detail, as we've just recapped it. Skinner explains that he's willing to be able to make a trade for this tape that they've got in exchange for their lives, their safety, I guess. And Mulder's just not interested. He explains what they saw, this alien ship, and then again he must have told her, because he sort of mentions what they saw. Oh no, he just mentions the file cabinets, doesn't he?
Yeah, and the ship.
And the ship, yeah. I guess
which he saw with his own eyes.
Yeah.
This is another little bit where, like, we touched on this last episode. He's bargaining for the safety, and I'm just like, for me, I was thinking to myself, "Are you an idiot?"
Yeah.
Because you're going to give them the disc, and they'll just kill you anyway.
Yeah.
They're not men of their words. Yeah. They're not going to stick to that.
Yeah, you can't trust them with stuff like that. You need to have something over them.
And luckily, later on, he has this sort of grand plan reveal that he does. But does he at this point? Or is he just naively believing that that's... You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, Skinner asks what he hopes to find on these tapes, that he's willing to give his life for them. And he says that he wants to know why his dad was killed, what happened to his sister, and what happened to Scully as well. Because we still don't know. Apart from that she got kidnapped. Yeah. Scully thinks that they need to make this deal. That they're too far out of their depth at the moment. They can't do any investigating because they're basically being hounded by these agents. And Scully also says that she just wants to see her sister. Yeah. Even though she wants what he wants as well, this truth to be released.
And they do make the point that, what's the good in finding out the truth? They're all going to be dead after a week anyway. Or live to fight another day.
Or even if they survive, discredited. You know what I mean? Like, if everything they say is, called bullshit, then what's the point as well? Skinner explains that they can't make a copy of the tape due to some copy protection, which you knew was going to happen. I did think about that, like, why did you not just make a copy of it? But there's always going to be something to stop it doing that. He says that they will honour the deal if they make it, because he's got enough evidence that they'd have to kill him too. And at that point, then it becomes too hard to cover up, I guess.
Yeah.
Is his implication.
Just a quick question. I mean, you're the computer guy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing that you can do?
Copy protection
on discs?
Yeah, you can do it. What is it? It's a tape disc in it. I think they call it a disc. It's DAT. I think it's called. So it's like just an audio tape, I guess.
Okay.
Or a magnetic tape.
But isn't that what the Thinker created? That's not theirs. The Thinker downloaded it onto a tape, so would he have put a copyright?
I think they imply that he put copy protection onto it, which makes no sense to me. Why not just spread it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he did, but apparently he did.
Apparently did. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, they can't make a copy.
Yeah. It'd be too easy for them just to be able to make a copy and go,
we've got 500 copies there all across America.
What are you going to do?
We've sent them to every newspaper. Guess we're fucked. Mulder says that it's up to Scully, and he walks out. And Scully basically concludes that she wants them to make the deal, but only if Mulder's okay on them giving the tape back. And they all drive off together. We then go back to the hospital, and we see Hostin talking about Melissa, as we see her lying in the bed.
For 2 days I had prayed for the FBI woman's sister. Her doctor said she was getting better, and her mother, who would not leave her bedside, was able to sleep. But word had come from my brothers in the north that did not give me hope. The white buffalo calf had survived, but after a day it would no longer drink its mother's milk. On the third day, the mother buffalo laid down in her stall and would not get up. They said the men could do nothing for her. That night she died. My father taught me when I was a boy that this is how life is, that for something to live, another thing must often be sacrificed. This was my fear now for the young woman.
Skinner enters and says he needs to see Melissa. He says that he's sorry about what happened to her, and he's also passing on a message from Scully that she's in a serious situation, which stops her from being here. Skinner then sees this agent who was walking it. So he pretty much walks in the exact same direction.
Yeah.
He's not moved. And he asks who that agent. Well, Hostin mentions that agent's been there all this time, and Skinner asks who Hostin is. He explains who he is and that he was asked to help.
Yeah.
And Skinner basically tells him not to leave the room. He chases after this agent. And as he gets into the stairwell, he gets jumped by two other guys. One of them being Krychek. And then we get a full-on shot of his new hairdo.
Yeah.
He looks... I gotta be honest.
Looks cool.
I think he looks cool. I thought he looked like a dick when he was like in his agent look. You know, like he looked like one of the agents from The Matrix. You know, like that clean, like just
clean cut.
Yeah,
I like it, and I thought this was a really interesting scene. A scene that we don't get any repercussions for in this episode. I'm sure we will, because Skinner's seen Krychek. Skinner's got the.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like I'm sure he's aware of things, and Mulder's told him things, but like Skinner's literally seen an agent that he's hired and he's had to have in his turn against him and try and kill him. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting dynamic.
Because he does mention that he double-crossed them in another episode.
Yes.
So he's aware that he does do that.
And I'm pretty sure it was also mentioned that he didn't have any control of who was hired.
Yeah, exactly.
He was placed there. So he knows, but like... It's a bit different to knowing to being kicked in the face by that person. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
He's directly involved in it now.
So yeah, they jump him, they beat him up, and they steal the tape, in short. Which I thought was quite sad. We see Skinner go from the head puncher to being the head punchy.
Yeah,
so it's all gone.
I didn't like to see this.
No.
He gets the upper hand, don't you? Yeah.
They leave him in the stairwell, and then we cut to the next scene, which is Krychek and his crew driving down a street.
It's one of my favourite scenes, this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Genuinely, I know it's cheesy.
Yeah.
I know it's like really like 90s action film, but this and the phone box scene, because I just think this adds a whole new dynamic. Yeah. You know what?
Do you know what? You don't see scenes like this too often these days, do you?
No.
It's very a 90s cliche.
It is definitely a 90s cliche. The reason why I like it, and I could be completely wrong, but I hope I'm not, it's been 2 seasons of Mulder and Scully and the government. And I'd love to see 3 or 4 different storylines.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Mulder, Scully, the Syndicate, or Mulder, Scully and Skinner versus Syndicate with this rogue agent along the side, who's battling along both. I'd like to see that. I don't know whether they'll actually go down that route, but
we shall see. We shall see. So they pull over, and a guy who in the credits is listed as Hispanic Man.
Okay.
I don't know if that's his code name or if that's just like a description.
Generalization, yeah.
And he asks if he wants a beer, to which Krychek's like, no, I don't want a beer. I guess he's driving, to be honest, so that's kind of not great.
Dangerous, yeah.
Dangerous, yeah.
Well, non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
0%.
Could be that, but I mean,
some people like the taste.
It could be, but I don't think they meant that. When you say beer, I don't think many people mean non-alcoholic beer.
You can't generalise like that.
Yeah, well,
it's problematic.
They've generalised with this guy's name.
They certainly have, yeah.
Anyway, they all get out the car, apart from Krychek, who's left in the car on his own, which is very important.
Yeah.
Because he then notices that the timer on the car is flashing 12 over and over. Now, I didn't notice I didn't get this part until he started panicking and running. I didn't know what the 12 signified.
I think it was just the time, 12.
Yeah.
I think it was like set to explode at noon.
Oh, okay. But maybe, yeah.
What's given the indication is a Hispanic man has made the old cliche mistake of getting to the door and then looking over his shoulder all awkwardly and suspect-like.
Just in case something were to happen next.
I hope nothing happens to the car. And whenever that happens to me, I know something's going to happen to the car.
You get out of the car and run.
You get out of the car and run, which is what he does.
Which he does.
And he runs like a man possessed. He's running like the devil's behind him.
And the devil, in this case, is a fireball explosion.
It certainly is.
Up the car goes. The other men watch on as Krychek keeps running. Keeps on running from this fireball. He knows he's been stitched right up now. Like a kipper.
But again, we know that these 3 guys are like the worst assassins and henchmen. Like, they've not got anything right so far.
No, they're just bumbling for like Keystone Cops.
Well, even when Krychek was in the FBI, he didn't get anything right. He messed up so often.
Yeah, that's true.
But it always makes me laugh with this stuff like this because it happens in everything I watch, and I'm just like. So I'm thinking to the Hispanic man, do you not think you're going to be the next person to get screwed over?
Yeah.
Like, you're all killing each other at this point. Like,
it always reminds me of the intro to, do you know, Dark Knight? When they're all like, what's it? And the one guy gets told to shoot this guy and he's like, I get your share. And it's like, well, you're going to die next. Like, he's going to eliminate everyone apart from himself. And it's like, spoilers for the Dark Knight, I guess.
Angry emails. I was going to watch that this weekend.
You've had 10 years. How old is that film? It's got to be like knocking on 10 years now, isn't it?
We were still in school when Dark Knight Rises came out.
Yeah.
So
that was the third one, wasn't it?
So you're talking 14, 15 years?
I feel like we need to bring another segment back. The Hey Siri segment.
The Hey Siri.
When did The Dark Knight release?
Which one? I vote for The Dark Knight.
Just the first one will do. 2008.
2008?
2008.
Okay, so 11 years.
11 years, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you, Siri.
Thanks, Siri. Sort of. We got there in the end.
Can you ask, because I don't have an iPhone, can you ask her personal questions? Will she give you her own opinions?
What kind of stuff, you thinking?
is the Most Unwanted podcast any good?
I'll ask, but I'm going to predict what she says.
Okay.
She's going to say, I've searched on the web for this and it's not there. So what was the exact question?
Is Most Unwanted podcast any good?
Okay. Hey Siri, is Most Unwanted podcast any good?
G.O.O.D. is by Danny Boy Bottom.
Cheers, Siri.
Thanks. And that concludes our segment.
So, should we put that in the bio? Like, we asked one person if it was any good, and this is what they said.
Yeah. I can't even remember what they said. What she said now. Something about G.O.D. got him or something like that. Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
Yeah. Mulder and Scully return to the greenhouse looking for Klemper. He's missing. Well, they can't find him. Now, it's implied, well, they say what happened, he's dead. But I'm going to pose an alternative theory.
He's in the house.
Yeah, he probably doesn't hang around his greenhouse every 5 seconds.
They looked around, he wasn't there, and they thought the only thing to do was just keep looking, looking, he's got to be in here somewhere. I thought the same thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I know eventually it does turn out that he's been killed, but it just made me laugh. It's like, I mean...
I went to the shop.
Yeah. There's sometimes I'm in the kitchen in my house. Doesn't mean I'm in the kitchen 24/7, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing.
But anyway, instead of finding Klemper, they find the well-manicured man inside here. And he says that Klemper's heart gave out, which seems awfully convenient.
Yeah.
Mulder basically flat out says that they killed him. Mulder recognises the WMM.
Yeah.
And he shows he recognises him from the photo, and he shows him this to WMM. I'm going to have to just keep calling him.
Let's think of another name from Lovely Hands.
Lovely Hands, that's a good one. I like Lovely Hands.
Lovely Hands.
Lovely Hands. Lovely Hands says he knew his father since they were young men. Mulder then asks, I've just thought, Lovely Hands knew Muldad since they were young men. We're going to have to come up with nicknames for every...
Perfect, I love it.
Yeah. Mulder asks why they collected all this medical data, and he explains about an alien spacecraft that was found in 1947 in New Mexico, and he also mentions that the Operation Paperclip coincided with this event. I don't know if that's as a coincidence or if it was on purpose.
I think it's to say that they're connected. And
definitely,
he's very forthright about all this, isn't he?
Yeah, suspiciously forthright. To which his wife.
Well, yeah,
Scully.
I mean, that's what Scully keeps on going on about, and I'm just like, this is the thing.
And again, she has literally just had aliens run past her feet, so I mean,
doesn't mention anything.
Unfazed by the.
I love it actually, because she's all about hard facts. Right? And she's had little aliens, one past her, 20 of them, one past her, closed the door behind them.
Yeah.
And then he comes over and says, aliens are real. And she goes, where's your proof?
Look, it's dark in those caves. Anyway.
Are we missing something? Because it just seems like such a big plot hole to...
It does feel weird.
But maybe I'm not... Maybe I've read it wrong. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean, because I've reading it back now has made me question some of this stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's not enough to. I'm just having fun.
Me too. I do love this episode. So.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like when we sort of make these jokes, it's not because we're like this is rubbish.
No.
We're like it's just more for our entertainment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hoping it's everybody else's entertainment.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Anyway, he references Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death, who's a very famous Nazi, unfortunately, who used to work on who was working on making a super race using genetic engineering. And he mentions that Klemper was one of his colleagues. And he also says that Klemper makes wonderful orchid hybrids. So Mulder puts two and two together and realizes that Klemper was working on an alien-human hybrid, and he says that that's what he saw in the boxcar, was all these dead alien hybrids. Apparently, Muldad objected to all of these experiments, according to Lovely Hands. He was, however, collecting all of these records that they found on the population, and he sort of says that it's because of the nuclear holocaust possibility that was in the air around the Cold War, and that's why there's all these files. Scully at this point starts saying that this is all too convenient, this is all a fabrication, and he says, why would he lie to them?
I'm sort of with him in the sense of, well, all the evidence points that way as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. Again, I can't figure this guy out, and I like the fact that I can't.
Yeah, that's the best part of it.
Yeah, it really is, because he literally is coming up and saying, everything you said, everything you thought so far is correct, and here's more information that you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what Mulder's been asking for this entire time, and so I don't know whether he's a good guy, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out.
Yeah. They start arguing if it is actually true, Mulder and Scully do, and Scully storms off. Mulder asks why his sister was taken, and he says it was insurance, basically, to stop Muldad saying anything about these experiments. And he wonders why they didn't take him. Lovely Hands explains that his life is in danger, and he's basically at this point become his father.
Yeah.
Mulder has become Muldad.
Yeah.
Mulder asks, that was me shaking my head at what we've become. Mulder asks if there is more, and Lovely Hands says there's more than you will ever know.
Yeah.
So, very poignant line to end on as he walks away. We cut back to the smoking room of the syndicate, and there's a phone call, and the aide passes it to Cigarette Smoking Man. And we see on the other end, it's Krychek. And he tells him that he's alive, and he says that he knows he's been double-crossed, and he says that he'll never find him. This is all to Cigarette Smoking Man.
Yeah.
He threatens Cigarette Smoking Man and says he will make him a famous man if he feels his presence, which is a really eloquent way of saying, I'll basically kill you if you come near me.
Yeah.
I feel like he's always been this way, isn't it? Is like Krychek, though. He's quite dandy with his words, I guess.
He reminds me of like a schoolboy. Do you know what I mean? Like
who's found a thesaurus.
Yeah. Like really, he's petulant, isn't he? And he acts like the cool guys in the movies type thing. You know what I mean? Like that's what he reminds me of.
Walking around with a cup of coffee when everybody else is drinking Pepsi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Other canned variants of drinks are available.
I'm not doing my line.
Cigarette Smoking Man plays it off like it's all gone to plan. He's sort of playing out the rest of this phone call as if he's receiving good news.
Yeah.
To not tip it off to the rest of the...
Expertly done, I would
say. Yeah. I wouldn't have... If I didn't see Krychek's side of the phone call, I wouldn't have guessed any other ways.
It's got to be tough as well, I think, to not react.
You should try and do that one day. Just like call you and you go, what? The boiler's gone? Like, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll trial it out.
Because the thing is, you've got to do it in a way that's answering their questions, but not in a way that's tip everyone off. That's the difficult part.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say, like, you could turn around to me and go, Checks, I'm going to kill you next time I see you if you don't do this. And I could turn around and go, the boiler's gone, but that's not answering your question. Do you know what I mean?
I'll be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So I'd have to say something along the lines of, don't worry, honey. I'll get it to you right away. You know what I mean? Like,
is that a response to I'm going to kill you next time I see you?
But that's the thing. I'm responding to you so you know what I'm talking about, but everyone else thinks I'm just talking to my wife.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
How many times have you called me honey?
I'm not on the phone to you as far as the other guy. You're not getting this, Luke. The other guys need to know that I'm not on the phone to you. If I turned round and I said, right, I've got a phone call from Luke. I don't want everyone else to know that I've got a phone call from Luke.
Okay.
And then you said, I'm going to kill you. And I went, okay, Luke. I think they got tipped off that there's Luke on the other end of the line.
You'd be like, Patricia? Yes?
What was wrong with honey? What?
Give it a name. Gives it some stakes.
Okay.
No, not again. But
you're all having steaks, aren't they? Well, they're too busy eating the steaks to listen to this phone call.
But anyway... He says that he wants... He says that Skinner basically wants to make a deal, but there's no deal to make because they now have the tape.
Yeah.
We cut back to... we don't cut back. We now go to see Mulder, who's gone to see his mom. And we find out that this is... he's gone early in the morning, 2:00 in the morning, he mentions. And he wakes his mom up. And he asks her if she ever had a favourite. Now, this is a hell of a question.
I didn't see anything funny in this scene until you just broke down laughing.
See, it's funny to me because what a question to ask them. You imagine being woken up by someone, your son, your grown adult son,
Who doesn't live there.
who doesn't live there, has just turned up at 2 a.m. and has now asked you if you ever picked a favourite. It's like, this is not the time for this type of question. But anyway, she says that she couldn't choose as she's pressed into this. And she says that Mulder did, and she hates him for it.
Did he choose Mulder as the favourite or Samantha as the favourite?
I don't think they actually
It
say
doesn't
which
say,
one.
yeah,
Say,
but I did wonder whether
That'll
the
be-
favourite was abducted or the favourite was saved from there.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that'll be the plot twist of it. It's
Yeah.
like we'll find out that maybe he did pick Mulder. Like Mulder thinks that Samantha's been picked because she's the favourite, whereas he's going
He
to say
didn't want Mulder to be abducted.
yeah, or something like that. They both hug and she starts crying on his shoulder, and then we cut back to the FBI headquarters. And cigarette smoking man enters Skinner's office. Skinner's
Proper
saying,
cocky-like as well. He thinks he's won the whole show here.
he's walking in thinking, he's got all the cards.
Yeah.
Skinner says that he wanted to see him. This is a great scene.
I love
An
this scene.
absolute great scene. Skinner says that he has the tape and he wants to cut a deal for Mulder and Scully's safety. And cigarette smoking man reiterates that he doesn't negotiate. Cigarette smoking man thinks that he's bluffing about this tape. And then he starts threatening his life, saying, have you ever wondered what it'd be like to die in a plane crash, heart attack, all these type of ways, basically to say that we can get you however we like. And this is where Skinner just gets angry as he turns around, as Cigarette Smoking Man goes to turn around, and he says he's not finished with
I
it.
love that. I'm not finished yet.
And this is where he introduced Albert, who's been waiting in the other room, who enters. Cigarette Smoking Man asks, what is this? And Skinner says, this is where you pucker up and kiss my ass.
Yeah, great line.
Which apparently is a line that he uses a lot at expos and stuff as his entrance line.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, apparently it's a favourite line. I wasn't convinced about putting this in there, but as soon as I read that, I was like, I'm going to have to go back and put this in. Skinner explains that Hosteen has all of this information that's on the tapes, because he was the one that translated it, basically. And it's all stored in his head, basically.
Yeah.
And he's also told it to about 20 other people, as they have an oral tradition of storytelling. He basically says this information is all a phone call away, and that he's not bluffing.
Yeah. He says the only way you can stop it is from killing out the entire Navajo tribe.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to commit genocide.
Yeah, which is hard to cover up.
It is hard to cover up, yeah.
Very hard. Cigarette Smoking Man storms out. And, he's been bested.
Yeah.
I think in this situation.
And Skinner's not playing both sides anymore.
Yeah.
Skinner's openly in rebellion to the cigarette smoking man.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's good. This next couple of episodes are going to be very interesting.
Very,
I hope, I'm guessing we're going to have a few Monster of the Weeks from now on.
Yeah, it feels like they've been quite heavy with the mythology episodes. So
So I think we're going to have a few Monsters of the Weeks. So I don't know whether Skinner will feature. But when he next does feature, it's going to be very interesting.
He has before, though.
He has,
so
yeah.
we'll see.
Sorry, carry on.
No,
let's
fine.
finish the episode.
Okay.
I've got an interesting fact for this week.
Oh, okay. Oh, facts and production notes.
I know, yeah. It's
lucky today, guys.
Lucky.
I can't imagine anybody's listening to this anymore, though. Like, I don't know bothering. For the last scene, we head back to the hospital and we see Mulder enter the hospital. Scully is sat by an empty bed, which is a bad sign.
Yeah.
She says that Melissa went into surgery 3 hours ago, as there was more damage to her brain than they'd hoped. And after surgery, they basically said that she slipped away. She says that she died for Scully, and she will never know that, and she's sorry for it. Mulder comforts her and says there's no justice in this. Mulder says that this isn't about justice. He says it's fate. And Scully says that she wants to get back to work after all this, after he asks if she wants to take time off. And Mulder basically says he's the same.
Yeah.
Mulder says that he's more certain than ever now that the truth is out there. And Scully says that she's heard the truth. Now she wants answers.
Yeah.
They both embrace, and the episode ends. So, what did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it capped off the three episode arc nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just a really good episode. You had a bit of everything in it. I love Skinner's arc. Really enjoyed Scully's. And yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm going to go through all the characters and I like them all.
Yeah.
So yeah, really enjoyed it. There's not a lot to say that we haven't already said about the last two. As you said in the last episode, they're so linked, all these three, that what we've said about them, we've said already.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a great ending to it.
Yeah, definitely. I really like this one. There's some massive revelations to this mythology plot, especially about like the how involved. Like we know there's definitely these alien hybrids now, and they're running around apparently.
Yeah. I also think as well it sets up a lot going forward. There's like a lot more that we can deal with. So like Skinner versus Syndicate now.
Yeah.
Like the dynamic of the Syndicate. Mm-hmm. And even to the point of we've got like this photo of all these people that we don't know who they are yet, and I'm sure we're going to find out one by one.
Yeah, who each one is.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Also, we have these really good action scenes in this episode, which I don't think we should underplay, because like when I feel like when X-Files does action scenes, it doesn't do them often, but when it does, it sort of nails them most of the time, I'd find.
Yeah, so. I'd completely agree.
So we now have that segment of the week. Segment of the week? Time of the week where we go to our segment.
Well, can I give my fact first?
Yeah. We'll do a Daniel fact.
A Daniel fact.
Daniel fact. Is that going to be?
That's not right.
Just do a song for you now. Just do it now.
Do
a song. Do you do a song for you?
I'm going to do a song right now?
Yeah, for your own segment. Yeah.
Oh, right now. Daniel fact.
That's good, yeah.
Cool. And so I found out this week that did you know that the term Monster of the Week was actually coined by X-Files?
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a Buffy thing.
No, it was I don't know whether Monster of the Week or Mystery of the Week, but the TW was coined by the X-Files, as well as the term shipping.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was originally first coined by X-Files fan sites. Originally, they used to call themselves relationshippers.
Oh, and then
eventually it just got down to shipping, and then it eventually became a verb to ship. But it was all to do with Mulder and Scully wanting to get Mulder and Scully together.
That's so weird, because I've only seen shipping as like a term like in the last sort of like 2-3 years or something.
Yeah.
I've never noticed it
I've never seen the term before that. But yeah, like because it's added to the dictionary now, and the first official recording of it, of at least someone calling themselves a shipper, was on an X-Files fan site.
Okay, well, that is an interesting Daniel fact.
Thank you.
We'll now get into our other segment.
Luke's production notes.
The aliens in this episode, who run past Scully in the mining facility, were portrayed by children aged 8 and 9.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It did give out. It was a little bit of a Munchkin vibe.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah. But you got to work with what you got, I suppose.
Yeah. And all the adults, 9-year-olds on set. Like,
yeah.
All right then.
The spacecraft spotted by Mulder was achieved by using a crane to lift lights over the building Mulder was outside.
Nice.
Nice little effect. Napier's constant is used as a code to access the mining facility in the episode, though the code used is in error. Scully and Mulder use the code 27828 to unlock the door, when in fact the first 5 digits of Napier's constant a 27182.
What a bunch of idiots.
What a rookie.
How do you get something like that wrong, though? Like, if you're making that a big plot point, surely you'd do the research and find out what the actual...
I guess, but back in the day, but now it would just be go on Wikipedia, have a look what it is.
Yeah, but that's not an excuse, though, is it? Like, it only takes looking in a book.
But you can imagine somebody wrote it down in pen, the ink smudged or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? And then somebody did a copywriting of it, and these things can happen.
I suppose.
If a coffee cup can end up in the final production of Game of Thrones,
good points, yeah.
How did that happen?
That's true, all the conspiracy theories.
That it was to boost sales for that
it was to get viral marketing for Starbucks. I don't think
it's not
that's
even
true,
a Starbucks cup, is it? It's a local brand from Ireland, wherever they filmed it in Ireland, didn't they? So yeah, it's not even a Starbucks cup apparently.
Wasn't there another one in the final as well? Like a water bottle by...
Yeah. There was loads. Jaime's hand isn't gold when he's hugging Cersei as well at one point.
Really?
His golden hand is just a normal hand. It's the thing is, I heard some people going, why did they not just take it off set? And it's yeah, fair enough. Maybe they should have, but that stuff happens. There's always you've seen films gas canisters or a mic or something. It's the editors that should be
that's their job.
Yeah, they're meant to find these and go, whoa, let's get rid of that. It's so easy to erase stuff like that, from a shot. You can just composite stuff. This is me talking, not knowing how to do After Effects. But I've seen people do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it just blows your mind that the biggest TV show in the world let little stuff like this slip. Anyway,
but to be fair, do you know they removed it from all showings of TV an hour later? It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, not on Now TV. We watched it.
Oh, is it still there?
Yeah. Well, the last time we watched it on Now TV, because we watched it back again, the 2 days later, and it was still on there.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So I don't know. In America, they are, but anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. The mining facility is named for Dr. Hubertus Strughold, a real-life German scientist who was employed by the United States after World War II. The fictional Victor Klemper is based on Strughold, who was accused of conducting similar experiments on humans. The name is almost identical to a Victor Klemperer, who was a German Jew that escaped persecution during World War II by fleeing to an American-controlled territory. Now, that feels a bit of an insult.
I know, it's a basic character off him,
Yeah. I as soon as I read that one, I was this feels a bit weird.
That's strange.
Yeah, it'd be like naming, I don't know, Oscar Schindler, Adolf Hitler or something. It would. That's a really extreme example.
It is a little bit, but I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it's like. Oh, it is like what it is, isn't it? I literally can't think of any. This is the quality podcasting you can expect. Siri was right. Just ignore the question.
Oh, no.
Never mind.
It was the deflation.
You know what I was going to say? My original thought was, it's like basing a character off Ted Bundy, right? But using one of the victims' names.
Yeah.
But then I realised all of his victims were women, and that wouldn't make any sense at all to base...
Yeah, but in America there's names where there's women's names. So
okay, so say I can't remember any of the people that he killed, but say Billy West.
Yeah.
As in a Billy for a girl. It would be basing this character, but calling him Billy West.
Yeah.
That would be an insult.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it. It just wasn't worth it, this.
It's staying in.
I'm talking about the podcast later.
In general. Anyway. Strughold mining facility was filmed at the British Columbia Museum of Mining in Britannia Beach, British Columbia.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, now we know.
Can I tell the listeners about how you've been to the Black Country Museum 8 times and never been down to the mines? Because you've got no one to go with.
It's a sore subject. I don't want to bring it up.
So we've got this place near us. It's called the Black Country Living Museum. Anyone that's a fan of Peaky Blinders will be quite familiar with the Black Country Museum because a lot of it's filmed there.
Yeah. I think we spoke about it recently, didn't we? About going.
It's
there,
quite possible, yeah. It's literally down the road.
Yeah.
And it's literally So it's like this whole area, and it's like walking back in time. You've got like all of these old houses and like the mill and the old pub and the canal networks, and you've got like actors all dressed up, and it's like walking back in time. And there's also a mine where people work, and you can go down the mine on tours, and it's really good.
I've been down there before, like with the school. Like, this is like primary, secondary school, one or two.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you've wanted to go down recently, haven't you?
Yeah, I wanted to go down because I've been a lot. So we've got basically, when you go buy a ticket, it's basically like an annual pass. You can just go as many times as you want. So if there's ever a day where we don't know what to do, or we just fancy the fish and chips there because their fish and chips
they
are really
amazing. Yeah,
we'll just go. But yeah, Tash hates like confined like dark spaces, which is understandable.
Why don't you just go on your own?
I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe next time I'll just go on my own.
Yeah,
it'll fucking cave in or something. They'll teach me. Anyway,
10 little blue men run past you. You just ignore them and carry on.
Yeah, don't worry about it. They've just been dropped off. The episode was dedicated in memoriam to Mario Mark Kennedy, an internet fan of the show who had died in a car accident in 1995. That's what we were talking about, do you know what I mean? Like, being a fan of something and then dying before it finishes.
Oh, yeah.
It's gutting, man.
It's a nice touch, though, to be remembered for.
Yeah. Story editor Frank Spotsnitz said of the episode, "I love Paperclip. I was thrilled with the plot. I know it moved very fast for some people, but I actually think that for some of the shows, you don't need to understand everything. I think it is more exciting to go at rocket speed. Everybody was on the mark in this one. David and Gillian's performances, Rob Bowman's directing, Chris Carter's writing, everything was just terrific in that show."
Yeah, it's fair analysis.
He liked it.
Yeah, he did like it.
That's all that matters.
He liked it.
Bowman said, "When I finished Paperclip, I thought, I don't know what else I'm going to do this year to top this." So, high praise. So, we'll have to look at other ones that he's directed and see if he does top this. Was it Rob Bowman?
I wonder how Chris Carter felt about that. Because I know if I walked into my job 1st of January, did a day's work and just went to my boss, I don't know what I'm going to do this year because I'm not topping this.
It's P45. You're off.
It's the first episode. Well, it's the second episode.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Work at it a bit.
You got to keep getting better.
Yeah. Got to strive to improve.
In 1996, Mitch Pileggi called the episode one of the show's finest, particularly enjoying the line where he tells the cigarette-smoking man to pucker up and kiss his ass. Pileggi claims that is one of his favourite lines. The scene was used frequently to introduce him at X-Files conventions.
Nice.
As I mentioned earlier. The creators liken themes of the episode to the Star Wars trilogy, referring to the revelation about Fox Mulder's father and Sophie's choice, referring to how the Mulders were forced to choose Fox or Samantha to be taken. And Carter included the motive of the white buffalo after reading a news story about the birth of a white buffalo calf, feeling that the image was so potent he did not mind that it did not entirely fit with the Navajo beliefs used elsewhere in the episode. So he was concerned with accuracy in the last episode, or was it earlier in these notes? It was last episode, wasn't it?
Last episode.
No, he's given up. It's,
because
creative license.
He liked it.
Yeah. Make your mind up, Chris. We're back on the Chris hate train there. But that's all of my production notes for this week.
Oh, superb! Another good batch.
It's been a good day.
Yeah.
No, we don't have any feedback again because this is
it's the same recording session as last week.
Exactly. So, we do urge. Please.
To urge. We urge.
We urge. That does sound too strong.
No. We demand.
Violently demand. That you get in contact with the show.
Yeah.
You can find us on Instagram, on Twitter, and on an email address, which are all below in the links. Get in contact about episode 1, episode 2, anything from from series 1 or 2 of the show, or any of our mini episodes that we've done as well. If you've got any thoughts on that, or just anything, just get in contact with.
Say hi.
Yeah, say hi. I mean, anything relevant to X-Files or X-Files vaguely related.
Why? Why does it have to be that? If someone got in touch and said, "Hi, Luke, just want to say, love your voice. You're doing a terrific job."
Yeah.
Then would you just immediately delete that?
Something relevant to our show, I suppose. Like, so if you say, love your voice, that's okay.
So, hi, Luke. How are you today? You would immediately delete that.
No, I'd reply.
You would reply?
I'd reply.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you're getting a lot of mixed messages.
Just don't send in anything vulgar, anything rude. That's what I meant. Jesus. It's always a battle with this guy. Not the stakes, it's this. But yeah, don't send anything rude. But do send anything nice.
Nice, okay.
Nice emails about X-Files, about the weather. Anything you want to say. This has opened us up to hell. But I guess that's all we've got time for today. I've been Luke.
And I've been Chex.
How else we're going to sign this on off? We've got no more languages to cover. There's no more languages in the world.
No, we've covered all of the languages.
All the languages are done. What else can we do?
This is something we should have talked about off air.
No, I like to do our planning on air.
It's more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can look back on it once we forget.
Yeah, exactly. We've got documented evidence.
Yeah.
So we've done a goodbye.
Can we not just say goodbye?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try that.
Should we say it together?
All right.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.